آل قرآني حفظتم آي رحماني وفضلتم تلاوته.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, I want to welcome you again to our monthly program. And tonight, inshallah, we will discuss some of the distractions from the mission ahead. For us to understand that, we will need to understand what is distraction and what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about that in the Quran, and for us to be focused, or totally focused. So tonight I want to begin with this idea that we need to be focused. We need to be focused in life. We need to be focused in everything that we do. Because if we are not fully focused, the end result could be detrimental. The end result can be catastrophic. The end result can be extremely sad. For simple examples we can take, like that of a seamstress or a tailor who tries diligently to put the thread in the eye of a needle. Without being focused, he would not be successful. Without focusing on the mission ahead, he would not accomplish what he intended to do. Likewise, if you're driving in a motorway and you're not fully focused, you're not concentrating on your driving itself, you're not fully focused, the end result for not being focused could be detrimental, could be catastrophic. It can end up someone dying. It could be disastrous. And as such, as human beings and as any logical being, we would want to be focused in any mission we take in our hands. Or anything that we do, we want to be fully focused. Even the surgeon in the hospital, in the theater that is doing an operation, he needs to be fully focused, because if he makes a mistake in the surgery, then it could be catastrophic for the client or for the patient or for the person that is involved. So you and I would agree that we all need to be fully focused. But despite all of that, our efforts that we make to be fully focused in our endeavor on a daily basis, or to be fully focused on the mission that we embarked upon, or to be fully focused on our job, or fully focused on anything that we do, we could easily be distracted. And when we are distracted, focus, we will not accomplish the mission we set out to accomplish. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us in the Quran, Alhaakum at-takathur. It's a very short surah in the Quran. I'm sure most of you have memorized the surah in the Quran. But it's good to understand a few words in the surah. We're not going through the whole tafsir of the surah, but just to understand a few words. Alhaakum at-takathur. It diverted you. At-takathur diverted you, distracted you. At-takathur distracted you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this ayah does not say in details what is at-takathur. Nor does he say what is it that is diverting you. And he doesn't say what exactly you're being diverted from. But it's like a vague statement, which the ulama of Lughah would say it's an absolute statement, meaning that it encompasses everything that you may think of. Alhaakum at-takathur. The word for distraction, or that we are being entertained by something else than focusing on the mission, is ilhaa'un. Ilhaa'un comes from the word alha. Alha yulhi ilha. Distraction. Being deluded. Being occupied by something in a form of entertainment, so you forgot completely about the mission ahead. Alhaakum at-takathur. What is at-takathur? You see, at-takathur comes from the word kathra or kathir, which means plenty. But this formation of the verb itself, at-takathur, takathara, It means that there is competition to get more and more and more. Like the word sabaqa, the sabaqa. It means a competition, you're in a race. Or takataba, when you're actually writing to one another. We call that corresponding to each other. It involves more than one person. So at-takathur means that there is competition. A competition that we want more and more and more. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't explain to us in this ayah what is it that we want more. But there is this constant competition that people have in their life, that they always want to have more. It could be education, that you have an A level and you're not satisfied with that. You want a BSc and then you're not satisfied with that. You want an MSc because your friends have got MSc, so you want an MSc. And perhaps they have a PhD. You're not satisfied with an MSc. You want to have a PhD as well. And this constant competition that you have, even in the field of education, and you forgot about the great mission ahead. Sometimes we end up in a competition of amwal wal awlad. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks specifically about two types of competition that people ended up being involved in, and they forgot about the world. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la tulhikum amwalukum wa la awladukum an dhikrillah wa man yaf'al dhalika fa ulaika humul khasirun. It's an amazing ayah in the Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believed, O you who claim to believe, لا تلهكم أموالكم ولا أولادكم. You see this desire that we have? Most of us do have this desire, and we want to be competitive in acquiring assets, in acquiring wealth. لا تلهكم أموالكم ولا أولادكم. And amazingly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not only saying amwal and assets and wealth and property. He also says property. He also says awlad. He says children as well. Can you believe that? People have competition about having more and more children, or the best type of children, or the quality of children, and they would go about boasting about the children as well, what they have achieved and what they haven't achieved. We would be boasting about them, what degree they've got, what job they've got, how many children they've got, what sort of family they've got, what prestige they've got, boasting about those things. At-takathur. It comes under that word itself. At-takathur. Alhaakum at-takathur. This constant competition that people are in. They might have got a degree, but they're constantly competing. I want to be up the ladder. I want to be promoted. I want a higher position. So constantly competing to have a higher position or to have greater salary. I want a bigger bank account. And as such, you're involved in that, you forgot about the mission ahead. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't state directly or specifically in the ayah what's that mission He's talking about. The scholars have said that this mission could be al-haqq, meaning the truth. That when we are involved in these things, we forget about the truth. Or it could be ar-risala, the message of Islam. That when you're involved in these things, you forgot about the message. Or it could be ar-rasul, that when you're involved in this competition and you're absorbed with this competition and you're overwhelmed with making all the effort to achieve what you want to achieve materialistically, then you forgot about the messenger. Or it could be Yawm al-Qiyamah, that we are so much embedded in our endeavor to achieve this mission of our own that we set aside to say, this is the competition we are in, this is what I want in life, so I forgot completely about Yawm al-Qiyamah, the day of accountability, the day of responsibility, the day when we will be questioned about the things that we do in this world. You know, if you're involved in football and you're excited about your team, you want your team to win, and it comes to the point of penalty, and you know that one has to, become victorious in the game. The goalkeeper and everybody there, they're all absorbed in this act of being victorious. And they want to be victorious at the end of the day. So they want the goals to be scored. So their focus is going to be exactly on that. So think about it, that the goalkeeper is trying to save the ball to get into the goal itself. What is he thinking about at that moment? Is he thinking what he's going to have for dinner? Is he thinking what he's going to be doing next week? No, he's fully focused. He's fully focused there. So he forgot completely about the rest of things in the world. Even the moments of distress that he's got, would forget all of that because he's fully focused. And that's what happened, that sometimes we are so much focused in the things that we want to achieve, we forgot about the mission ahead. We forgot to focus on the real mission ahead. And that is the mission of al-haq. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, it says, al-haq, mal-haq, wa ma adraka mal-haq. It said the reality. What will convey unto you what the reality is. Al-haqq. It could be Yawm al-Qiyamah, because that's the day of reality, when we have to go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to answer for the things that we have done in this world. The day of accountability. Sometimes we forget about that. Sometimes we are oblivious of that. Oblivious of al-haqq. Oblivious of Yawm al-Qiyamah. Oblivious of the ar-Risalah. Oblivious of the ar-Rasul. Oblivious of the Quran, oblivious of the mission ahead, because that's what entails the mission ahead. What is it that we want to achieve? We want to achieve Jannah, Jannatul Firdaus. So we have to keep focus in this world. And how do we keep focus? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala encourages us how we can keep focus. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. We say that in every salah, every rak'ah, in which we stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we say, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Guide us in the straight path. It's not a new path you're asking for. You're not asking for new information. You're asking about information that could keep you focused. You're asking about information that could keep you aligned on the straight path itself. Praying Salat al-Fajr should keep you compatible with the right path. In case you go astray, Salat al-Dhuhr steps in. So it reminds you again. And if it does happen again and you try to deviate or you're being deluded in any way, Salat al-Asr steps into the play again. So it reminds you constantly. It reminds us constantly that we should be keeping focus on the mission ahead. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Because we want to go to Jannatul Firdaus. That's what we want. That's the mission ahead. The mission ahead is that we want to be close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can only achieve that when we are fully focused in this world. Whatever we do, we need to be fully focused and not to be distracted. You see, the things that would distract you might not be the things that distract me. The things that would distract me might not be the things that distract you. We all have different things in life that distract us from the mission we're supposed to accomplish. And that's the way shaitan works. Because shaitan knows you. Popsy knows you much more than you know yourself. So he's always there knocking at the door because he wants to deviate you. He wants to take you away from Sirat al-Mustaqim. And if you succumb to that, then we become very weak and feeble. And as such, we would lose focus and lose the idea of accomplishing the mission ahead. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us so that we can understand our mission that we need to accomplish. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us focused so that we can achieve full focus in this world and do what is right. Everything that we do in this world, it should be connected to the mission we have ahead. Everything that we do is for you to think, for I to think, for all of us to think, that everything that we do, we should ask ourselves, how is it, does that contribute for me to accomplish the mission ahead? Am I doing the right thing? Is that part of the mission? Or is it not part of the mission? Is it part of the mission to distract us from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Or is it part of the mission to distract us from the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala highlighted two profound reasons. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تلهكم أموالكم ولا أولادكم عن ذكر الله. He said, oh, you believe, don't let your wealth, because we can be attached to our wealth and we can be attached to our children. And these are the things that we should use to help us to go to Jannah. These are the assets that we should have, that we should use them in such a way to take us to Jannah and not to take us to Jahannam. But if we are distracted, then those very assets that we're supposed to be using to take us to Jannah, it will take us to Jahannam. لا تلهكم أموالكم ولا أولادكم عن ذكر الله. Let not these things come into your heart and deviate you from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from the truth, from the mission ahead, and dhikrillah. فَمَنْ يَفْعَلْ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْخَاسِرُونَ. And anybody who is guilty of that, who does that, he is among the losers. The people who are losers. Losers in the akhirah. You know, you can be a loser in this world, but it's more painful if you're a loser in the akhirah. Because being a loser in this world doesn't mean, in the eyes of people, does not really mean that you're a loser in the akhirah. And to sustain that, you need iman. To focus on your iman and ensure you take that along with you. Because if you lose that, then you lose everything. That is the most precious thing that you can think about, your iman. And that's the way, if we maintain our focus, then we would accomplish our mission ahead. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us in the Quran, اعلموا أنما الحياة الدنيا لعب ولهو وزينة وتفاخر بينكم وتكاثر في الأموال والأولاد كمثل غيث أعجب الكفار نباته ثم يهيج فتراه مصفرا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, He's giving a parable in the Quran, a similitude in the Quran. He talks about the farmer, He talks about the tillers of the land. He talks about people who love to do farming. And when they do farming and there is no irrigation, they become frustrated. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that then He sends down rain, كَمَثَلِ غَيْثٍ, natural irrigation that He gives to the farmers, to such an extent that you actually get your fruits coming up and the crops are being planted and they're grown and they blossom and then you can have harvest. They rejoice when they have the harvest itself. كَمَثَلِ غَيْثٍ أَعْجَبَ الْكُفَّارَ نَبَاتُهُ ثُمَّ يَهِيجُ فَتَرَاهُ مُصْفَرًّا. And then after a while, you've seen the harvest, it all blossom, become nice and flowery, and you can all enjoy it. ثُمَّ يَهِيجُ فَتَرَاهُ مُصْفَرًّا. And then it withers and becomes yellow. ثُمَّ يَكُونَ حُطَامًا. And then it crumbles and becomes like dust in itself. So from one point where it looked like a harvest that could be really good and you can rejoice in it, and what farmers would usually do, that it doesn't sustain itself all the time. That very one, if you don't take care of it, then it withers, it becomes yellow, and then it crumbles and it becomes nothing. It becomes useless altogether to the farmer. And that's the example Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us in the Quran about the life of this world, that we can see that it blossom. We can be carried away. We can be deluded with the niceties of this world, with the good things in this world. And we can think that it's all here, hanky-dory, and it's all nice and beautiful, and this is what the world should be. And then suddenly it all withers away. It becomes dismal, bleak, gloomy, and sad, because then comes death. And we all have to go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's all finished. وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ عَذَابٌ شَدِيدٌ. And there is severe punishment in the akhirah. وَمَغْفِرَةٌ مِنَ اللَّهِ وَرِضْوَانٌ. And you have the forgiveness for the believers, forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and ridwan, and His pleasure. وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. And what is this life except it's an enjoyment filled with delusions. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to know. اعلموا أنما الحياة الدنيا لعب ولهو. That know that the world in itself is like a play, it's like a game. لعب ولهو is like entertainment. Because when you're being entertained, you're being entertained by football or cricket or music or films or whatever you like. You're being entertained by those things, and you're being entertained by having children, or entertained by having wealth, or entertained by having business, or entertained by social media, or entertained by Twitter, whatever it is. You're being entertained by, and you forgot the mission that you're supposed to be focusing on. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the understanding and bring us back to the reality, so that we can understand that there is a day of Yawm al-Qiyamah, that we understand there is al-haqq and al-haqqa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes Himself that He is the haqq, He is the truth. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us that knowledge, understanding, and efforts so we can go back to Him and think about Him on a daily basis, so that we can accomplish this mission. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم أجمعين.